Hello everybody and welcome to the very first ever edition of the Big Fire Fantasy Breakdown. I'm your host, Chris Stollinsworth, alongside the ever appropriately dressed Jim Pants.
Thank you, Jim. You're the only thing I have left in this world.
Well, folks, as a new season of football is drawing near, the folks over here at BFPN want to take a look at this year's Dynasty Draft to see which teams hit big and which teams missed the mark.
That's right, Chris. Some folks around the league have clearly been watching their podcasts, while others may have turned on the auto draft a little too early.
That they did, Jim, so let's take a look at the best and worst picks from this year's 2022 Big Fire Fantasy Draft.
Well, Chris, starting out at number 4 for our list of the biggest losers of this year's draft, we need not look any further than the very first pick, where the T Vegas Pankers selected quarterback Josh Allen.
What a horrible pick, Jim. Our experts had this guy going no earlier than the 5th round. A very confusing move by the Pankers, and may God have mercy on their souls, Jim.
Not sure what they were thinking, Chris.
Well, the good news is that some of the GMs in this league came into the draft with a plan. To demonstrate that, I'd like to direct your attention over to the 11th round, where the Sleepy Boys selected defensive end Josh Allen.
That they did, Chris. Our experts had that guy going no later than the 5th round. Back over here in Loserville, we are announcing our 3rd worst pick of the draft, which is going to be yet another selection by the T Vegas Pankers.
Oh boy, what did they do this time, Jim?
Hang onto your seats for this one, folks. The T Vegas Pankers, in their infinite wisdom, drafted Chris Carson, who is retired.
No, they didn't.
Oh, yes they did, Chris. And let me tell you, this pick has a worse chance of panning out than my marriage.
You need to move on, Jim, and so do we, to winner number 2 from this year's draft. Now, what if I told you that we have a 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro wide receiver who fell all the way to the 29th round?
I'd call that a hell of a steal, Chris.
Well, that is exactly what happened when Antonio Brown fell all the way down to the Classic City Clonkers.
Well, yeah, but
hell of a pick, Jim.
Hell of a pick. Unlike this next one, Chris.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Well, Chris, we've been having fun on tonight's show, but I'd like to take a moment to talk about injustice.
Careful, Jim.
No, Chris, I'm not going to be silent on this one. You see, prior to this year's draft, one of our beloved franchises, Mount Hodgemore, declared dibs on the draft rights to quarterback Joe Burrow. These dibs were valid and were recognized by the league. However, with the 6th pick in the draft, the Cooperstown 229ers selected Burrow 5 picks before Hodgemore would have had their chance.
Thank you, Jim. You're very brave for speaking on this. But the show must go on, and we have 2 more winners to reveal. So, coming in at number 2 on our list, we have none other than the T Vegas Pankers.
Well, I guess a broken clock is right twice a day, Chris. Who did they draft?
Well, it isn't who they drafted, Jim, but who they traded for. You see, immediately following the draft, the Pankers moved wide receiver Rico Bussey in exchange for a truly elite quarterback in Jake Fromm.
Oh, that guy is elite.
He is elite, Jim. Just don't let him Snapchat your daughter.
My daughter hasn't spoken to me in 3 years, Chris.
Well, that is unfortunate. Now, I've been told that you have quite the surprise for us for your last pick, so we are going to save you for last and skip straight to tonight's big winner, the Vidalia Fightin' Yumyans. That's right, with their selection of Deshaun Watson in the 8th round. Now, believe it or not, Jim, I really don't have too much to say about this pick other than the fact that I have no idea how he slipped that far.
Not a clue, Chris.
Just not one single observable metric that would lead me to believe that this guy is an 8th round pick. But you know, Jim, that's just how these drafts go sometimes. A guy will slip a spot, maybe 2, and all of a sudden, you get a big-time quarterback as an 8th round steal.
Damn straight, Chris. Well, folks, the time has come to announce this year's big loser of the draft, and it is my pleasure, no, my honor to announce that this year's loser is none other than Mount Hodgemore. That's right, folks. With 15... Oh, damn it, you're doing so well. Damn straight, Chris. Oh, I'll try again. Damn straight, Chris. Well, folks, the time has come to announce this year's big loser of the draft, and it is my pleasure, no, my honor, to announce that this year's loser is none other than Mount Hodgemore. That's right, folks, with their selection of 15 rookies, as well as this guy in the 6th round. Well, Chris, let's just say that Mount Hodgemore left us with more than our fair share of head-scratchers. And it is for that reason, folks, that I have on the line with us today Mount Hodgemore GM LeConte. Yes, that is his full name, who will be speaking with us and breaking down his unique draft strategy. LeConte, can you hear us?
I can. Thanks for having me today. Great honor. Great pleasure.
Now, Mr. LeConte, I would first like to start off by offering my support. We at BFPN recognize the dibs that you had on Joe Burrow, and we take a firm stance against those who embody hatred and deception.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
That's good. Well, anyway, Mr. LeConte, can I call you LeConte?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I would first like to ask you, what was your strategy in drafting over 50% rookies on your roster this year?
So here was my strategy, right? I could have taken, older players that, maybe have a few more good years in them, but why not? Why not just flip the coin and see? Nobody else has seen these players play, so we're all kind of on a level playing field. So, they got drafted in the NFL. Clearly, they're pretty good football players. Out of the 10 or 12 that I picked up, maybe like 3 to 5 of them are going to be actually really good. And
there were actually 15 of them, 15 rookies, for the record.
15. So maybe 5 to 7 then. We put it that way. So, hey.
Hey, well, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. And I'm accepting that a few of them, are going to get cut, and probably aren't going to make it anywhere. But there could be a few stars in it. So that was the thought process there.
Understood. Well, how about for your selection of the Falcons' backup running back, Tyler Algier, in the 6th round? That was a bit of an interesting one by you.
Hey, kid's good. The kid is good. Algier. Hey, he knows how to run the ball. So I've been watching him for years. I don't know. We'll see. Come on. You gotta. Hopefully he does something on the Falcons. So that's where I was coming from there. So.
Well, if the kid can play, he can play. Now, Mr. LeConte, I have just one more question for you before we part ways.
Okay.
What state is Mount Hodgemore in?
Oh man. You bastard.
Hey, don't worry about it. Well, anyways, Mr. LeConte, it was a pleasure having you on the show. You're welcome anytime. And
okay. Hey, and when you speak to Chase Cooper about the dibs, let him know. It's never too late. So we'll always take Joe on the Cons team. So just let him know.
Well, Cooperstown 229ers, if you're watching, you still have time to right your wrong.
Okay, thanks for the time.
All right, thank you, Mr. LeConte.
Well, folks, that's about it for this first ever episode of the Big Fire Breakdown. For Jim Pants, producer Kyle Piss, and all of our BFPN crew, I'm Chris Stallensworth, signing off.